Hi, Jenny. Let's see. Can you?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yes.
Uh-huh. There we go. There we have you.
So nice to meet you.
Can you see me? It's more like. Can you see me? Is more than
Yeah.
like because I'm like.
Yes.
It's very dark in here.
Oh yeah, I can see you. Yeah, just fine.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Look, I've got a massive. This like my ordinary light just wouldn't cut it. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Finally.
It's so nice to finally see your face and and talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Sorry about last week. Really sorry. There's so much going on, you know.
Totally fine. Yeah, I'm just really grateful that you could be free today. So that's
cool.
Great. Yeah. So I will go live in the group, and then I'll introduce you, and
we're in a group, are we?
We'll chat. Okay. So yeah, the Women in Audio group, and I'll be checking on Facebook, for questions if they have any, and
okay.
But mostly we're just gonna chat and just see what you've been up to. Awesome. All right, we are officially on. So Jennie Matthias, thank you so much for being here today. AKA Jennie Bellestar. You are a motivational speaker, self-development teacher, singer, founder of Show and Grow, and most people might know you as Jennie Bellestar from the Bellestars, the 80s group that had popular hits like Sign of the Times and Iko Iko, which was featured in Rain Man. Thank you so much for being here. And how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
We had a few technical problems, didn't we? But that's all right.
Just a little.
Every time I do a Zoom, there's always like a little kind of technical problem. So
I know it's.
I need to get to learn to do it myself. But hey,
At least it worked out. I know it can be really finicky though. I'm sorry. So how are you today? What's been going on for you today? You are 8 hours ahead of us in England.
Well, today there was a march, another march. There's a global march on. It's called a Freedom March, and so I was basically marching for freedom with thousands and thousands of other people, and we're kind of anti-lockdown here, but I think everyone's anti-lockdown. We've had enough, It's just like we want to get back to getting a nice little life again. And so everybody goes out. Anybody that cares about that sort of stuff goes out and does it. And I've been on every one. The last one was a million people. Million!
Wow!
Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
amazing.
You've got to do it. If you care about people, if you care about the world, then you have to do something about it.
Absolutely agree. I have been reading your book, Surviving the Storm, How to Embrace Your Pain and Grow Through Adversity. And it's really wonderful. It's written so personally and very clearly. And I wanted to talk a bit about your upbringing and how you came to, through music to writing this book.
You start the question. Was that the question?
Yeah. So how did you? What was your initial few years?
Have you actually read it?
Yeah. I've been reading it this whole week. Yeah, I just finished.
Really?
Yeah, just today.
No, and I have to give you a funny thing that happened a while ago. Right? It had 5 stars. Right? So the other day I went to look to get the link for somebody that wanted the link. And I realized my 5 stars weren't there. And I was like, oh, I wonder who's giving me a bad review. Let me have a little look, right?
Wasn't me.
No. Okay. Listen, I don't mind criticism, right? But when the criticism has got nothing to do with the book and everything to do with conspiracy, is just like, and I don't mean like conspiracy woo-woo. I'm talking about conspiracy. Where did you get your information from? Conspiracy. Sure. And I'm like, so what first of all they've gone and done and said like it's highly self-indulgent. So I thought, okay, if that's how you feel. That's how you feel, right? Sure. And then something about my grammar. Well, I'm not an academic. I write from the heart, you know.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of writing a book like that is because it's a self-help for people that have been through something as similar as I've been through. And the
Right.
idea being that you write a book in order to be able to help other people through your experience, right?
Absolutely.
Check that. So that's that's the truth. That's how I write.
Yeah.
So I don't say I'm an academic, and I don't say I'm amazing at grammar, even though I thought my grammar was all right. But anyway,
That's
but the best
fine.
part is they've called me a QAnon conspiracy theorist, and I'm like,
What?
well, okay. And then on top of that, they said I lied about not having any children because I have a child with Paul Cook from the Sex Pistols. I'm like, what the fuck are you
What?
talking about? I don't have any children. And even though I know Paul and I know Jennie, his wife, because her name's Jennie too.
Maybe that's what
I'm like,
happened.
no. And I know Holly, his daughter. His daughter's been on stage with me many times. And I'm like, where did this go? But the thing is, I wonder how these people can get away with that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. I have
Because
no idea.
they could destroy a person that didn't have. If I didn't have such thick skin,
Yes.
you know, if I wasn't able to laugh about something as stupid as that, you know,
Yes.
I might be kind of like mortified.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. That's
I just see the
terrible.
guys. I just see the person as a bit of a twat.
Yeah, which they are.
You know what I mean?
And they probably just confused Jenny's because that's as far as their research went.
There's like I've got 78% of it is good. So, you know, I still got the majority so they can.
But that's not fair. That shouldn't be allowed.
It
I mean, if
shouldn't be
it's
allowed.
false.
To be honest, Angie, I can't be bothered. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
pretty thin. It's like I
But
wrote the book. If you read all the comments about it, you know
yeah.
the comments are really lovely. And
Oh
one of the
yeah.
main comments of all is like, I really like the way this isn't psychobabble,
Right.
and it isn't, and you've written it from the heart.
Yeah.
Is what most people like. So there's always going to be a troll involved that says like, you know. So you know what I did? So I thought, right, let me check on this person. So I went down to check, and they had badmouthed nearly every single book that they'd ever read. And I just thought, why are you guys here online? Are you just like,
What did
do you do
they?
this? This is not a very nice thing to do, you know.
No, not at all. And what is lacking in their lives that they have no joy in what they're reading and
I have to introduce them to some slapism.
yeah, seriously, just
I just
get
created it. It's called slapism.
slapism. I
Yeah.
love it. Oh, they need a hobby. Well, I mean, that was one of the first things that I noticed and I loved was how personal it is, how you write like you're just talking to me, you know, and that's one of the things I loved about the writing. So they don't know what they're talking about.
Thank you.
But you have
so what was the question? So how did I arrive at the book, was it?
Yeah, and we can start if you want. Just you had an extremely difficult childhood that you write about, and I know that played a part in surviving through these traumatic experiences and playing music, and then there are so many journeys that you went on that you describe in the book. But do you want to just introduce people to, you know, where you started as a child?
What the heavy stuff?
If you want, if you want to get into the heavy stuff.
Well, the thing is, it starts at the age of 3, and where my mother murdered my sister in front of me, and I'd imagine that. Actually, she died like last month. My mother.
I'm sorry.
So, well, you know, we were strangers. If you read the book, then you'll understand. Get it. You know, we were total strangers, totally different people. But she was, you know, my biological mother, and she did bring me into the earth. And you know, and I'm kind of a bit philosophical about. When you get older, you become a bit more philosophical about things. And I survived it. You know, my other 2 sisters didn't. I wagered that she also murdered my other sister. But my mother had mental health issues. And so, and she wasn't treated nicely as a child herself. And it was a bit of that kind of like Cinderella syndrome. My mother was very beautiful to look at, but she had a black heart, and she had a black heart because of the way she was brought up, you know. So hence the reason I don't have any children, because I wanted to break the chain, so I didn't want to
Yes.
I didn't want to be that kind of person.
Yes.
And I'm not, because I put that energy into helping others.
Yes.
I don't know if you know anything about the charity work that I do, but we feed the homeless every single day.
Amazing.
And 5 days a week. So I do that.
Beautiful.
That's one of the things I did outside of music.
Yes.
It's one of the things that I really enjoy. It's going to be my next massive project to do the transition from that. But so I went through a life like that. Went through children's homes. Lived in convents. And then unfortunately, they what are they called here in this country? I don't know what you call it in your country, but they're called social services.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm. The social services, they within their kind of like ignorance, I wouldn't say wisdom, because they didn't have any. How can you get a young girl to go back to the parental home that she's been damaged in after all those years and think that that's okay? But that's what they did. And so for many years, it was like a house of horrors for me, where I was beaten up quite regularly. And but that sort of life gives you a tough skin, and it gives you a tough life,
Right.
Then
absolutely.
By chance, by accident, I just dropped into the music business. It was just by chance.
Right.
A friend of mine, in fact, she wasn't even a friend, it was just like an acquaintance that I'd met in the bar for a few times, we're hanging out with each other. And she said, Jenny, look, come to the studio with me. And I was like, well, what for? I don't sing. She said, yeah, but I do. So I was like, well, so what? So why do I have to come with you? And anyway, to cut a long story short, I went to the studio, keep her company, and I stayed in the studio room where the producer was. And the track at the time was called Ico. Ico's very significant. Oh, actually, it's in the background.
Oh my goodness! That's great.
If you can't see above, it's like it's. I've got the because that's when people did sell a lot of records in them days.
Yes, of course.
And it's got the platinum. It's a platinum.
Oh, that's great.
But it's a double when you see it. And
cool.
Anyway, so I went in there, and the guy was chatting to me, and it must have been there about an hour, and he says, can you sing? I was like, oh, don't so ridiculous. And he said, but your voice sounds great. So I said, well, he said, try and do some backing vocals. So I went and did the backing vocals. And then I came out and I said, yeah, I told you I couldn't sing. He said, no. He said, actually, you can. He said, he got rid of the people that were doing the lead. He got rid of them. And he said, try the lead. He says, you've been watching us all this time. I'm sure you know what you're doing. I'll guide you. So I did the lead vocal. Anyway, he put it on a cassette and said to me, look, can you come back again? And we'll do it real, we'll do it proper, and we'll record something. So I went home, and that night, the guy that I was going out with, I passed him this cassette. And he said to me, I didn't know you could sing. So I said, nor did I. Right? So then he said to me, so then that was that. The following day, I kid you not, his ex-girlfriend calls up. And she's in a band called the Body Snatchers, which was a ska band it was like a cult ska band, but it was an all-girl band. Now, remember the Bellestars were all girls, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And, but check it out. So 5 members of that, they'd lost their lead singer. So they were looking for a lead singer, preferably one of color, because that's what they had before. I don't know if you're allowed to say that these days, but quite frankly, I'm not PC, so I don't really care. So anyway, and I'm not in America where they can't beat you up. So we're still pretty cool about that.
Right? Oh god.
So anyway, the next thing you know, I'm flipping auditioning. I've never done an audition in my life. Next thing you know, we're on Top of the Pops.
That's incredible.
Next thing you know, we're traveling around the world. Next thing you know, we're playing with the Clash.
Right? Yes.
I'm told.
That's so amazing. I mean, it just seems like it was just an instant change in your life that spun you out into an entirely new world.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I ran away from home when I was 15. Well, no surprise there. And I kind of lived on my own from that age. And so you had to grow up fast when you're living as a teenager on your own.
Yes.
You kind of like surfing people's sofa surfing and all that kind of stuff, because you've got nowhere to live and you really don't have any kind of like way.
Right.
You just don't know,
Yeah, of course.
you know, I had, by that time when I was at home with my mother, I had 6 siblings to look after,
Right.
of which I used to, like, I was 9 years of age, and I used to cook for them, do the cleaning, do
Yeah.
this. I didn't have a childhood,
Right.
and so, yeah, and so
And-
when I was in the music business, unfortunately, when you're in music, you're also surrounded by drugs and this and that, and I went down that path. And when I look back on it now, I realize the reason why I did that was probably a form of escapism,
Mhm.
and
Sure.
but then I got myself out of that
Yes.
after many years, and I did it myself. I did cold turkey because I'm not one of these people that like to I was about to say I'm not one of these people that like to talk about it, but guess what? I'm on Zoom and I'm talking about it. But the thing is, you can talk about it, Angie, after the thing.
Yeah,
I
of
didn't want to
course.
do that kind of. I'm not knocking NA or AA or any of those things. It's probably good for other people, but it's just not good for me.
Sure.
I went there once and I thought, well, what's the point in being in a place where everybody's done drugs and when they're going to leave that room, they're going to go up the road and get a bag of whatever. So I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. It's just too hypocritical for me. If I'm going to do it, I'll go cold turkey, and I'll do
Wow.
it my own way,
That's so
And as soon
inspiring.
as I got off the drugs,
Yeah.
I went straight in to schools teaching drug awareness in schools,
Amazing.
and
Yeah.
I made some good money.
Yeah.
Damn, I can get
So
money.
good.
I can start earning money on my experiences.
Yes.
This man, So that was
Absolutely.
like real. But I didn't do it for the money. I did it
Of
because I
course.
wanted to help children. I wanted to help.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something cool. And that was cool.
Well, and it seems also, you're not a mother, but you've mothered, your siblings, and you mothered your siblings from a young age, and then you acted as a, very maternal figure in helping so many young adults through their experiences with drugs. So I think that that's an amazing creative output and output of your energy as well.
No, it is, Angie. I mean, that is a good. That is it. That's where my energy lies, and my energy lies in. I suppose, in a way, like you just said, you're probably right. I feel sometimes like a mother. They call me auntie.
Oh,
They call me Auntie
yeah.
Jenny. A lot of people do. All my friends' kids call me Auntie Jenny, and then these people that I feed, there's like thousands of them, and
Amazing.
I see them as I call them my people, but I think
Sure.
that's the mothering instinct that I
Yeah.
have. But the good thing about it is, um, you know, I don't have to take them home with me. I've got,
Exactly.
which then gives me the energy, Angie,
Yes.
to go back and help them again the following
Yes.
day, because I don't have that personal thing with them.
Yes.
Yet when I'm with them, it's very personal.
Yes, absolutely. I think
Yeah,
that's an
I love it,
amazing
man.
use
I
of it.
love it. I love
Amazing
it.
use. And that help with the teens and the young people that turned into a show. And you have an organization, the Show and Grow.
Show and grow.
Show and Grow
Show
as
and grow.
well.
Angie, Show and grow is my new project.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's like the transition. See, over the COVID period, when COVID happened, me and my friends just got into gear. We said, because I also help people with the charity,
Mhm.
and it's called Food for All, and the
Amazing.
Food for All charity feeds 5,000 people every single day, 6 days a week, and so that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
just within the London area and a small part
absolutely.
of the London area as well as the whole part. And when COVID kicked in, we realized that there were going to be charities that weren't going to be able to take this on, because everyone was scared, all this
Mhm.
kind of stuff. And we were like,
Sure.
well, we're not scared, and we're going to do it.
Mm,
And so we
amazing.
did it. We kept it on. And so I called up my friend. He used to be in a punk band, but he's got his own charity shop in round the corner in Camden.
Mhm.
And I said to him, look, I said, your shop's closed. I said, it's wasting. I said, it's wasting good space. I said, I need it.
Mm.
And he's like, well, yeah, Jen, you can have it, but can you tell me why? I was like, I need to feed everybody. And he's like, come and pick the keys up, man. Right? In
Yes.
pure punk style. So in fact, they dropped the keys down to me, and we were there for 9 or maybe 11 weeks,
Wow.
um, feeding people. And we started off,
Incredible.
put the ghetto blaster on, we cranked up the volume. We were the only people in the street,
Yes.
street. And we just thought, well, we'll get some passers-by just in case. And we'll start off with just like 70 meals or something like that, see what happens.
Sure.
And we also had people delivering on their bicycles. So they come and pick up, we make parcels for them. We pick them up as hot food, and then we get all the food from the supermarkets. Because the supermarkets love us. We've been established for quite a while. And so they go, right, we give it to the nearest charity. We were the only charity that cared enough to do anything.
Wow.
And so our job was made huge by it. It was actually 5,000 a day, because we had to do loads of places that you don't even know about. And it was just such an adventure, you know, to go out there. I can't remember why I'm telling you the story. What was the question?
I mean, really, what led to that drive? Hey, Allison, to feed the people.
Say it again.
Well, what led to that feeling, that need to feed the people?
Well, what, over the COVID period or just generally?
Generally, but I suppose, you know, if you want to talk about.
When you see somebody in the street and they need food, you know, you have to help them.
I mean, a lot of people passing by.
Why wouldn't you not want to help them? You know, right? So, and I feel that it's been a great opportunity to be able to work with my friend. He's my good friend anyway. He runs the place. I mean, that's not the only thing we do. Sometimes we go on these marches and we jump in a rickshaw. We put the drums in the rickshaw. I'm on the microphone. There's a bass at the side. There's a guitar. There's a trumpet. And we go on these marches. You know, these activist marches, singing Clash songs and the Stranglers songs, changing the lyrics to suit the mood of the. So let's say it was like we're against, you know, vaccines, or we're against like GMOs, or we're against whatever. So we'd write the songs to suit the programs. You know what I mean? Yes. And that's the sort of stuff we do as well. But we do loads of other stuff. I mean, we teach people how to cook. We give them new skills. We have them come in and help us do the volunteering, which they love doing. Yes. And then we also get the community involved. No, it's brilliant.
Amazing.
And during the COVID period, people were gagging at the bit to leave the house, because in England, like, you weren't allowed to leave the house unless, of course, you were doing volunteering. But because I was, so what happened was, after a few days, all of a sudden you see. First of all, it was like a ghost town, and then after a few days, you see a few dog walkers going by, and you're like, okay. And then
yes.
Then as they're going by, they're so happy to see another person. It's like it's just like some kind of strange movie. Oh my God, you're the only person in the world. And you're like, damn, you need to get out more, honey.
Oh.
You know? We've been out every day. It wasn't changing for us. But for them, they were like, they'd been locked in all like a week or something. And I'm like, can we do anything to help? Can we volunteer? So what I suggested to them to do was, we'll make you some parcels up. You go out to your community, go around and see if there's any old people, anybody with disabilities, anybody that's hungry, hasn't got any money, and tell them that there's a food place here, and that you are going to volunteer to come and pick up some food on your bicycle and bring it to their home. And that's what they did.
Amazing.
And so we expanded from there.
That's incredible.
Throughout the whole of the COVID, yeah.
I mean, I love it. I love that you say, you know, of course you'd want to help, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people walk by and don't try to help. And I think that's really a unique, really unique quality.
You'd be surprised over here. A lot of people like to help.
That's
you know what the COVID thing taught me? They taught me there are some good people out there, because people were so shocked at what had happened, and they were so desperate to see other people. And then when the first lot they saw were people that were actually doing something good for others and going out of their way to do that, they wanted to be a part of that. And it's then that I saw humanity, how it really could be and should be.
Nice. That's beautiful. How has music continued to play a role in your life, especially during COVID? Has it changed?
No, it's got more. It's got more. I mean, in between the silence, you know, because I do the charity thing for like 4 hours in a day. So there's plenty of time. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm in the gym at 5:30. and then I come back,
Whoa.
do a little meditation, and some chatting to the higher spirits, and then I'm off to do the charity, or I read a book. Then I'm off to do the charity. No, forget that. No. Usually someone sent me a track. I had loads of backing tracks. So during the backdrop of my morning, I'm writing songs or I'm writing poetry, so it does not stop. And I go to the studio twice a week, twice a month.
Wow.
And I make a point of, having at least 6 things to do over a 2-day period.
Oh, that's incredible. That's
yeah,
so much.
No, I'm fast. I'm a prolific writer. I'm really fast, and that's why I get so many backing tracks. Like, Jen, can you write the chorus? Jen, can you just write the whole thing? Okay, I don't write music, but I do melodies and lyrics, and I write bass lines.
Oh, nice. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, love to hear one. Yeah. If you got a bass nearby. Yeah. No, that's great. So growing up, what were your musical influences?
Very eclectic. I mean, it could be anything from growing up. Okay, that was the my favorite. When you come into, remember, I'm nearly 64, so I was born in the 50s, so I'd be hearing music in the 60s, and I would also, my time period. When you're a teenager, that's your time period. Yeah. Really you get on the music, and so I guess I used to love Jim Morrison and the Doors.
Oh yeah.
But then I liked Melanie. I liked God, I just liked absolutely everybody. I really liked. I like Pink Floyd. Yes. I like Deep Purple. I love Deep Purple.
I love Deep Purple.
People think to me, "Well, no, well, you should." And I'm like, "What do you mean I should? This is the sound that I like.
What?
Why should I have to?" Yeah. They think because of the way you look.
Yeah.
You be liking rock or this and that. And I
love music. Same.
Yeah. But then as you grow older, you hear other Tamla Motown. Come on. Hello. Of course. Who wouldn't like Tamla Motown? And Stax,
yes. Otis Redding is.
Yeah, Rare Groove. I just liked a lot of things that I love. Nina Simone.
Yeah,
I love Julie London. I love Dinah Washington. I love all of those people. I could go. The list is endless. Oh, who do I really like a lot? What's Eartha Kitt? Okay. Who you remember Eartha Kitt? Legend. Alison, isn't she a legend? And I actually happened to meet her. What? A pussycat. She was such an amazing woman.
Oh, that's
legend.
That's so great. Has your musical taste changed over the years? Do you listen to more kind of eclectic things now than you did, or has it kind of narrowed into a certain style?
No, there's no narrowing. No. Yeah. I like to listen to new stuff. At the moment, my favorite is Tom McDonald.
Oh, nice.
I absolutely love
him. That's amazing.
I love him. I think he's so cool.
That's great.
He's a lyricist, as well, because I'm a lyricist.
Oh, of course. Okay, that makes
and his melodies are excellent, and I'm a melody writer.
Oh, sure.
What do you reckon? Do you like him, Alison? Alison, do you like him?
I've never heard of him. I was just looking him up. I've never heard of him.
Really cool.
Listen,
that's so funny.
What's that one about the clowns? Clown in not clowns in America, but it's like something
Clown
like
World. Clown World. I just looking at the YouTube.
Yeah. Play it afterwards. You're going to be you've been jumping all over the place. His lyrics are so. He looks a bit insane, but who cares? His lyrics are amazing.
Yeah.
There's another band, Disturbed.
Oh, yeah.
You don't like, but I do.
Disturbed. I saw them. I got to see them live, which was really fun.
Yeah.
They were playing with it was a really cool festival, and Tool was there, and Korn was there, and it was a fun festival. Yeah.
There's, but there are other artists. I'm not really that. I'm not that over the top about mainstream artists, because I like artists that are original. And that are doing something different. When it's mainstream, it's all the same. It becomes a bit boring, So I always like to look for the person that's doing something that little bit different from somebody else. Having said that, if you get a good song and it's a really nice melody, obviously I'm going to like that if I hear it
Yes.
from mainstream.
Mhm.
You know, who's that one who did what's his name? Ed Sheeran.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely. Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
him. You know,
Yeah,
and
great lyricist.
huh?
Great lyricist.
Oh, he's a great lyricist. He's great with melodies. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I did a TV show with him about 3 years back with a
All
guy called
right.
Jules Holland. I don't know if
Okay.
you
Yeah, I
know
don't
who he
know.
is,
I don't
but
know.
he has the most popular TV show at New Year's, and
Okay.
everybody plays on it. And this one year, they asked the band a band called The Beat that to play, and they'd asked for me and the girl. Funny enough, that used to be in the Bellestar and used to be in the Body Snatchers.
Oh,
The girl
nice.
whose job I took over. So they asked for the both of us, and so we both did the backing vocals. A very strange thing, you know?
That's great. Oh,
Everyone
cool.
was there. It was flipping brilliant.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was
I
cool.
love that. You mentioned, stereotypes based on the way that you look, and I wondered how was that, especially as a teenager and fronting the Bellestars. I'm a mixed race woman as well, and so I thought, it's really interesting how people assume what genres you're into or what you might play or how you might, carry yourself or what you wear, whatever. And so I wondered, how did that affect you?
I don't really think about things like that really, because
Yeah,
I don't know.
It might be different.
About you. I don't. You're not the same age as me, but when in England, they kind of. Oh, I shouldn't say that really, but there were, depending on where you were. The school that I went to wasn't racist, but when I went to a children's home outside of my area, it was.
Okay.
So I experienced an awful lot of that. And when you experience those things as a child, as you grow older and then people do that, it's just like water for duck's back. I don't let it bother me. And another reason why I'm not PC, because I just don't really get affected like that. But I can understand why some people do. I'm sorry, I'm not from the woke brigade. I can't be doing that because I just don't understand it. I don't get it. But I don't think that, if somebody kind of blatantly came over to me and called me those things that they used to call me as a child, again, I'll introduce them to some slapism.
Slapism, that's right.
Slapism. Slapism. I would say, shut up. But the thing is, they don't do that because, I have there's certain, you become quite powerful when you've done all the things you've done and the people know you for what you've done. And so they give you that respect, And so I just don't really think about things like that.
No, that's really great. That's great. No, I love that. And it might be a bit different too, is overt in England or do you think that there's a difference between the overt kind of racism in England and America? Maybe growing up it was a little different.
Racism everywhere, Yeah. And I do agree that it needs to be stamped out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you've got this, when people speak about race, it's the day they stop speaking about it that we'll not think about it. But because when that word is mentioned, then we're speaking about it, And I think we don't have to speak about it at all. If we could just drop the word and drop the thought, the people, we're all human beings. We're all one. We're a family,
Yeah.
And if we could see ourselves like that, the whole world would be a better place.
I love that. And I think we need some more slapism.
The other day when I saw a really bad thing online, I just thought, you know what? This teacher needs a bit of slap. She needs to be taught. I saw something online. It was disgusting. This woman, this teacher it went viral actually, I think on Telegram. And this teacher was calling this young boy a dick. This is a teacher for not wearing a mask. And the boy said, well, I've been vaccinated. And he said, and she was effing and blinding and this and that. And I just thought, that's it. What kind of teacher does that? This was in America, by the way.
Oh,
not to say that it doesn't happen in England, because it probably does.
That figures though, so.
I don't know. I was astounded. I think it might have been this morning. I was astounded, Angie. I just thought, what kind of teaching these people they need some kind of, they need some lessons.
Yes,
Yeah?
we need you to come over here and
Yeah,
deliver some slaps.
Yeah, just slaps. Yeah,
I love it. No, that's great. So with the Body Snatchers moving, you know, into the Bellestars with you, how was that feeling of really when everything was taking off and you got to travel, and how did that feel?
Exciting. And at first I was really scared. You see, obviously you've read my book, Angie. So I had really low self-esteem. It's actually a very good question to ask. I had very, very low self-esteem. And when I went to the, because, you know, my mother, she was always saying, no one will listen to you, you're ugly, all those kind of things. She'd say all those kind of things. So that it doesn't put you on good stead. No. And you don't feel that you've got any worth. But at the time, you don't know that because you don't understand that sort of behavior. Right. But you kind of recognize it years down the line. And I was just scared. I was scared of everything. Yeah. I don't know how I managed. I've never sung before, to learn 9 songs, because that's all we did. 9 songs to play this first gig. I just don't know how I managed to do it. And then I had to front the band I'd never done before, as a scared person, right? And in between the songs, see, because remember, they'd done it before. I'd never done it before. And in between the songs, I had to say something, and I couldn't. I just had, all I could do is remember the lyrics of the songs, and you know, so I let them say something in between. But as I got into it more and more, I kind of grew into it, you know. You couldn't get me off the stage. I was like, okay, you know, and then there was an encore. Yeah, come on then. And then I'd be like really vocal, like I'm vocal now, you know. Nice. But you know, I grew up. I grew up in that band. Like I learned a lot in that band, and it was like, I think it was, you know, it was such a great opportunity, and such an experience, and one that I would, you know, say to anybody that if you want to get up, if you want to go out there and do it, you do it, no matter what. Because I was one hell of a scared person. I was like, really, you know, I didn't think I was worth it and all those kind of things. And yet everybody's worth it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Where was the first place that you traveled to that you really loved or that you really resonated with you?
With the Clash, without doubt, without question. Nice. The Clash had asked for us to be their main support, and we did like 4 dates in Europe.
Amazing.
And we had the time of our lives. You know, have you ever had a time you think, I just really don't want this to end?
Yes.
And so when you're enjoying yourself so much, it just goes like that.
Yes.
And then straight after that, we went on to the Madness tour, which, you know, do you know the band called Madness?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So we went on, well, they were on our label. We were on a record label. Yeah, called Stiff Records.
Cool.
So Stiff Records was the coolest label of in the whole of the UK, because it was the biggest independent record indie label. Right. And it had like people like Ian Jury and the Blockheads. I mean, it had all the cool, Jonah Louis, it had everybody on there.
That's so cool.
It had us on, it had Madness on there, it had King Kurt, it had loads of people on there.
How fun.
Yeah, Temple Tudor, loads.
Yeah. Do you still love to travel?
Even Tracy Allman was on there.
Yeah.
She does,
yeah, absolutely.
That's in your place, no?
Yeah. Came over here. But do you still like to travel? I mean, I know that COVID has put a damper on that, of course, has changed everything this past year, but after traveling with bands, do you still love to travel on your own, or do you love going with a group and experiencing it that way?
When you say travel, you're talking about travel?
Like travel overseas and travel abroad?
At the moment, we can't travel abroad.
I mean, before.
Oh, but are you crazy? You can get me on the plane quick enough. I'm not afraid of planes. Oh no, I love it. No. Someone says book me a flight. Oh yeah, I'm there. I've got the bags packed already.
Nice.
No, I'm not. I love it. I love traveling.
Oh, that's cool.
Just before this happened, about a year before, we were doing a tour, and I actually also like traveling in my own country.
Nice, yeah.
Because London, because England's actually really pretty.
Oh
There's got
yeah.
lovely places to go to. And the last tour we did Ireland. We went to Ireland, and so we
Nice.
had to travel on a plane there. It was
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious. I mean, the whole tour we did, like, it was every week, every week,
Uh-huh.
and we did, I think we did about 12 or 14 weeks or something, and it was absolutely flipping amazing. But we traveled around our own country. But as far as traveling
Nice.
outside of, I'm, I don't like to travel on my own,
Mm-hmm.
but I do like to travel with other people,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, I prefer not to travel on my own. Oh, yes, what am I talking about? I went to the Azores with my
Oh,
good friend. Yeah. So
nice.
sometimes, Angie, I'm not in a band. So what I'll do is I'll front the DJ.
Oh,
So,
cool.
or the producer. That Adrian is my good friend is Adrian Sherwood,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a top dub producer. But then you do, like, you toast, or he'll just run off the track, and then he'll just mix the music whilst I'm
cool.
doing the stuff with the audience. We just, like, work it out before we get there.
Cool.
And we did the Azores, and I don't know if you've ever been to the Azores.
I have not. No.
Oh my
Looks
days!
beautiful.
Oh my days! Every
Oh.
place you go is a waterfall. You go through, as you're coming out of the airport, all you can see is flowers just lining up the thing. Oh my gosh. And the people are incredible. And the places that we seem to stay are actually beautiful. It's just, everything's amazing about the place.
Oh.
I think, when I become a granny, which is probably in a few years, when I come in, I'm living there. It's absolutely stunning.
Oh, nice. Oh, now I want to go.
Yeah, you love it.
No, that's beautiful. So after your recoveries, when you were with and studying Buddhism and spirituality that way.
Oh, you have read the book then?
Yeah.
You read the book then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
People don't usually ask me that question. Yeah,
is that okay?
But no, it's okay. Yeah, no, it's okay. But then I realized that you started the program off with you've read the book. Yeah.
Which I've loved. I'm doing the exercises. I still have them, my journal. So
someone does an exercise. They all come up to me, Jen, I'm doing the exercise. I'm like, is it probably one of the ones that I'm not doing then or something? But whatever. What can you say? Yeah.
So, but they're great, and we could talk about that too after. But how did Buddhism inform your practices, or does it still inform your practices now? For everyone listening.
I'm not really a religious person, Angie, and I chanced upon Buddhism because it was a period of my life that I wanted to commit suicide. I'm very honest about that. And what happened was I had this wonderful boyfriend, and he committed suicide. And my whole life, I don't know if it was in the book. I don't know if I mentioned it.
Yes.
And and so my whole life just imploded.
Right.
And I couldn't really see a way out. And a friend of mine that I had a connection with, she could feel my energy all the way in Scotland.
Ooh.
And she knew something was wrong. Now that woman that I'm talking about, I spent a lot of my years with her in a children's home. And by accident, we met up by chance, many, many years afterwards. And so we kept in touch. Anyway, so she went to Scotland and she became a nun, a Buddhist nun. I don't know how she managed to do that, because before that she was a raving nymphomaniac. Anyway, we'll go on.
Amazing.
She'll be the first to tell you. I wouldn't be doing it behind her back. She'll be the first. And so she's my good friend, but she changed. Their lives changed, don't they? And so she got in touch with me. And she said to me, Jenny, I need you to get here right now. And I said, I just can't really move. And she said, we're going to come to pick you up. Anyway, so I got on the train and I went. And I couldn't believe it. Now, remember I said to you how nice England is? This is Scotland. The place was beautiful. It was green everywhere. There was this massive temple with these people walking in red robes. And I'm like, what's going on around here? So what happened was, it took my attention off of how I was feeling. Now at the time I didn't know that, but when you look back on something, you realize what your actions were. It took my attention off. The people in the robes, they were just so lovely, and I think they must have known what I'd gone through. My weight had plummeted to like under 7 stone. It was like 6.5 stone, and I'm just not like that kind of person. I'm usually about 8.5 or 9. And then they were doing these teachings, and their whole life was different, a way of life I'd never seen before. And whilst you were at this place, it was a retreat. Once you were at this retreat, you had to do 2 hours worth of work, which I love doing because I like. And so when you do that 2 hours worth of work, because you get free food, you see, and when you do this 2 hours worth of work, you get involved with all the other people that have arrived there for whatever purpose they're going to be arriving there. It's usually for spiritual purposes. And then you go in and you do all this chanting, and you're surrounded by spiritual people, and your whole life is totally different from being in Camden Town. And so it was like someone had plucked me from where I was from the darkness and went, here you go, and put me in the light. That's exactly what it was. And it had such a profound effect on me. And then I came home, and it was just weird. It was just like I'd gone back into that, but I didn't go back into that because I'd taken some of that with me. This is one of the teachings I say to everybody. When you experience something that is profound in your life, you can take out the bullshit and keep the good stuff, and then it's the good stuff that you then add to the next part of your journey. And so what I did was, when I arrived home, I realized some things needed to change. And that and the things that needed to change was me. And hence the reason why I started to do things like the drug awareness, schools, this and that. Then we ended up doing poetry classes, then we had to do drama, then we had to do the theatre, and then all that kind of stuff, because I'm in the arts.
Yes, of course. So, amazing.
So and the kids, and the thing is, you know that you've done well when years down the line you're at a madness gig, you're backstage, and all of a sudden this young girl comes up to you and she's like, Red Jen, because they call me Red Jen because of my hair. Red Jen. And so I'm like, oh, okay, they're obviously from Camden then, because only the people in Camden call me Red Jen. I'm like, oh. And then she look behind her, and she's got her entourage, which is her family. She's like, I want you to meet my family. And I'm thinking, damn, who are you? So I thought, okay. So she comes closer. She says, you remember me? And I was like, oh no, should I? And she's like, she said, don't you remember? She said, you're the one. She said, you're the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today. And I'm like, how comes that is then? She says, you were the one that made me get up on the stage and have the confidence.
Oh, that's so amazing. Oh,
now you see. So and when and you know what the beautiful thing was, Andrew? The beautiful thing was, I had all my mates around me. I felt so proud. I felt so proud. Yes. I just thought, wow. It really, it's just like no money could buy that feeling,
Oh, that's incredible.
It happened more than once. Yes. Apparently another guy, he got into radio. Yeah, that's what he wanted to do, And these are the kids I taught at school. We just did a few lessons with them at school. Only a few, but those teachings that we did with them, and they were loads of fun, trust me, because we're a bit of a laugh, must have had a profound effect on them, so profound that they brought that experience into the next part of their journey.
That's so beautiful. That's amazing. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget the influence you can have on someone, even if it's for a short time.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, I've done 8 months at this particular hub in the hotel. There's another, because we've done the whole of COVID, but we went to the Rock and Roll Rescue place first, then we went to the CPT theatre first, and when places became open, the hospitality places weren't open because it was still kind of close contact.
Mhm.
So they said that they wanted to do something for the community, and of course we were it. And so they gave us the hotel, and they gave us this massive place outside where we could feed the homeless outside, you know. And so this week, which on Thursday was one of the saddest days for me. Well, not saddest days, one of the most emotional days for me. And they stay there a second when I'm seeing something. I don't know if you can see this. This is like,
oh yes,
thank you. Can you see that? Can you see,
yeah.
And all the many things for the things in there is the same as the story that I just told you about the poetry.
That's
and
beautiful.
You know, some of the things, I will never throw that away. That will be with me for the rest of my life. And I couldn't. This is on the Friday when I came back. I was in bits anyway, and I just thought. I couldn't read it properly because I was crying.
That's so amazing.
When you touch people's heart, you know, Angie, it isn't what you got in life, you know, it's how you make people feel, man. You know, and it really is, that is the way it is, you know, when you want to take something, because I believe in an afterlife, and I realize now that, you know, in a way, though my childhood was really quite heavy and it was really quite sad, it was one of the best lessons that I could ever have had, because I realized that I didn't want to be that person, and have turned and have just gone the totally opposite way, because I know how my mother made me feel. I wouldn't want to make another person feel that way. And so I'm going to do the complete opposite. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to touch your heart, and I'm going to help you raise the next standard, and I'm going to help you raise your vibration. And if there's anything I can help you do to get you onto the next step of the ladder, I'm your girl. Why? Because I've got the energy, I've got the know-how, and I've got the love and compassion in my heart. You know?
Yes. Amazing. I love that so much. And that brings us to the exercises. I wanted to ask.
My days. Okay.
Because I love them.
I hope I'm still doing them.
Well, I love it. The I am affirmations, morning and night, and choose ones that inspire you and play it in the morning and then at the night. And do you still do affirmations every day?
Well, the thing is, I have my morning thing that I speak. You know, I actually speak to myself, you know. So, but you know what I do? I record it on my phone, and then I look back at it, because when it's like very early in the morning, and you're speaking to your higher self. You can call it your intuition, you can call it God, you can call it whichever one you call it. But there is something else out there, because when you're in the silence of yourself, you seem to be a bit more intelligent than you are when you're chatting to somebody. I don't know what it is.
I totally agree.
The thing is, Angie, if people did that and they recorded the stuff that's coming out of their heart, so what I might do is I'd sit there and go, you know, these are my plans for today, and I want to like incorporate something that is going to be exceptionally good for somebody else. That is my absolute given. I have to help one person a day, but it's usually a lot more than that. But if I help no people in a day, I get really out of balance. You know, because it's just a traditional thing I have to do. It's my thing. And you know, so what was your question again?
If you still do the affirmations and so you record them.
So that's the I am thing. It's a very spiritual thing. But it's like, you know, I used to say, I'm ugly. Well, why did I say I'm ugly? That was because I was told I was ugly, you know, and always, I hate myself, or all those kind of stuff. And so basically what I was doing, I was putting a spell on myself, and that spell would attract that dark energy. But when I say when I kind of get myself up and going like, Jen, you're looking good, man. Okay, and we're going out to the gym and you this and that, and that's another reason why I go to the gym, because I want to keep looking fine, So keep confirming, actually, Jen, well done, and at 64, I'm very fit and healthy, and
yeah, rock on.
So now I'm genuinely saying, I am okay, or I am good, or I am, I am happy, or I am is like a spell that you're putting on yourself, and you're attracting that energy. And I want to be attracting the good energy, because if I'm attracting bad energy, how can I then go out and help somebody else? And also, the people feel energy. What you say to yourself is very important. Feeling is the secret. There's a book out there called Feeling is the Secret, and by Neville Stoppard or something. It's only 46 pages. It's the most incredible book I've ever read. And it's right, if you feel good, then you're going to say, hey, you know what, I am really feeling good, and it's good to keep saying those things.
Nice.
If you saying, oh God, everybody goes, oh shit, I look really bad. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Then you don't do that, because if you say that to yourself, then you're going to start looking in the mirror and seeing that you're feeling bad. So we have to kind of get those nasties out of our head.
Yes.
and stop saying that about ourselves. It's just a bloody bad habit.
Yes, it is.
Really need to get out of. And even if you did look rough, you don't. You flipping don't. So what if your hair's all over the place because you just got out of bloody bed? Or like you got drunk last night. So what? You got drunk, but you don't have to say, oh, keep your level of conversation and your mind up, because otherwise it's just going to attract the wrong energy if you don't.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
I am is all about that.
Yes. It's so powerful. I think it's very confidence building too. Just kind of put, even if it's hard to believe it at the time, if you just repeating the words, I think is even a good first step. It helps to kind of keep that train of thought going throughout the day.
I do. One of the things I used to do when I was trying to get out, because I remember I've been like indoctrinated as a child.
Yeah.
So when you're being told you're rubbish, or no one's going to listen to you, or you sound ridiculous, or all those kind of things, then that gets to you, and you kind of your voice is very small. But then you see the experiences of my life have become a lot larger, and so your life changes, and so I do as well with gratitude. The gratitude thing. Before I get out of bed in the morning, 10 things I'm grateful for. 10 things.
Yes.
An absolute given. The attitude of gratitude. And
Nice.
the other day, it just get it. This is a while ago actually. I've written most of it. I've written a book on gratitude, and what I'm grateful for.
Great.
And you would be so amazed how people don't realize the importance of their whole body. And my book's called The A to Z of Gratitude. And I was looking at my hands one day, and I was like, you know what? I've still got my fingers, right?
Yeah.
I've never had a broken body in my bone, right? At the age of now 64, right? Now, so you'd think I would have had one broken body. No, never had one. What have my hands done? Then I start thinking in my mind what my hands have done. My hands, just one example of things to be grateful for. Well, my hands write, okay? Yes. My hands help people. My hands stroke someone's face when they're feeling down. I've done that many times with the homeless, right? My hands have sugar hands in, whatever. My hands have done just so many things that have been so wonderful for the human race. And my hands help write, fill in forms for other people that can't write. There's an awful lot of people that are dyslexic in this country, and I help people when I help people to read and write too. Amazing. And so that's just one thing to be grateful for.
That's incredible.
Then you think about your legs. Then you think about your toes. If you live like, then you think about your face and your eyes and your mouth, and you can breathe, and your ears and your organs, and you think, sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
No censor. Damn. And these are the things that you take for granted when you actually think you really should be saying thank you.
Yes.
Because you still got them.
Yep.
And you're still using them. And once in a while, it's really nice to kind of put it out into the ether. You know what? I'm really grateful. So what I do in the morning is like, it's almost like my I am now, but it's like, my thing is like more like a grateful conversation. So I'm talking about, you know, what I'd like to see in the day, what I'd like to see happen in the day. And I always end it off with, you know, what I'm grateful for and thank you. I always say thank you to the universe. Always.
Beautiful.
You know.
Beautiful. That's such a great habit to be in, I think.
Then that's a good habit.
So it's very mindful. Allison's nodding.
I try to use that with, I have a 6-year-old, and we work on that every day.
Oh, nice.
You see, when you have children, you see, it's you know, you have this young being that you want to be the best in the, well, you think so, wouldn't you? The best in their life, and of course you know, I would love to think that you're doing something like that. You know, it's so nice. It's nice to have a parent that cares enough to be able to want to do that.
Yes.
It's nice to have him reminding me too.
Oh, good. Yeah.
He'll remind me, tell me about, what are you grateful for, Mom?
Everything. I'm grateful for you. Did you say I'm grateful for you? Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. I love
we
that.
plant these seeds in the children, and then they remind us.
Brilliant. That's lovely.
Oh, I love that. Jennie, as a musician, a songwriter for decades, playing on stage with all sorts of bands, all different genres, we are a group of women who are aspiring engineers, songwriters, musicians, audiophiles. Do you have any advice as far as making music, especially knowing that the industry is 5% women producers and engineers and behind the scenes?
As a producer?
Well, as being a woman in the industry, as a songwriter, or, you know, on the behind the scenes of actually being on stage, knowing that there are so few women actually on that side. Do you have any advice for, you know, how to just keep that energy going?
How do you keep creating? Just become powerful in what you do. Become the person that cannot be touched in your field. Because, you know, practice anything that you feel that you can't do. Make sure that you can do it. Because in this world, when we were with the Bellestars, there's 7 women, and we used to get a lot of stick because the girls played an instrument. Well, what's the difference? Do you know what I mean? Apart from like your genitals, they can't play. What you think they can't play an instrument, and they played them very well. And so you had a few like misogynists out there, and you just go, what a pain in the ass, you know. And for me, I don't play an instrument; I sing, but that's not the point, you know. The other girls used to get it, that affected me. And but I wouldn't say didn't say too much. But what no one can take away from you is your genius. So I would say become genius. You asked for my advice, right?
Yeah.
And I'd say become genius, even more genius than that. Because what the men don't have over the women is that the women have a soft edge. And so when they become powerful, they're not so kind of cut and dry. They just have that extra thing. So you've got that extra thing they don't already have. When you become genius in your field, they can't touch you. Watch every single genius female bass player out there. Who did, you know, when David Bowie went on stage, who did he call on stage? He called one of the best female bass players for the Live Aid thing, did he not? Right?
Oh, amazing.
And then, you know, you see all those kind of things. You saw like Prince. Who did he?
Sheila E.
Hello. You see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Become genius. But the thing is, I would say that to anybody, you know. I'd say no one can touch a genius. No one touches a genius. So, you know, and I'm not saying work that much harder. I'm just saying, well, if people are going into a craft anyway, they should be genius. They should be They should know exactly, they should be the best.
Mm.
So work on being the best.
Woo!
And work on being the best, and the rest is like, a mere detail.
Detail. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I think, it's so worth it if it's your passion.
There you go. I mean, I couldn't have said that better myself. If it's your passion, then you'll work on it. I have people that I have to turn a lot of backing tracks away, because now I just say, look, I can't write every backing track that's sent to me. So you can only write the backing tracks that you like. And I'm very, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Know your power. Because I know mine. I've been through my shit. So I've come out the other side. I understand myself now. And no one can walk over me like they used to walk over me. Or I used to allow them to, because I didn't have the wherewithal or the worthiness. But of course, once you become a lot more streetwise and the years go down the line and you become a lot more philosophical, you end up growing in your power, growing in your strength. And because my passion is songwriting, lyrics, and melody over other people's music, I am now known for resurrecting people's back catalogs.
Wow.
Where they've got a library of stuff that they're like, well, Jen, I don't know if you like it. And I'll be like, and I say to them, no. I'm like, oh, no. Give me your old stuff. I want the old stuff. I want to kind of make it fresh. And so I freshen it up for them.
Nice.
When I send it back to them, there's not one person that doesn't like the stuff. When I send it back to them, because I've worked on my craft, I know exactly what I'm doing. And when I go into a studio, that there's not one moment spent, because I've done all my pre-production at home, harmony, everything, before I even get into the studio. Hence the reason why I have 2 weeks in between, because it takes me 2 weeks to do my pre-production at home, and I'm working on harmonies and 3-part harmonies and all kinds of stuff. Once I've done once I've got the kind of basic foundation, then I'll work on the harmonies, and then I'll work on possibly maybe spoken word in and out in between and all that kind of stuff. And then maybe some, counter melodies, and depending what the track is for. But when I go in that studio, everybody has that studio set up for me as a mark of respect, because they know I don't like messing around in the studio. And that, Angie, is power.
Oh, that is beautiful.
They've got it already, because they know Jen doesn't mess around.
I love that. Oh no, your power.
And that's not being a diva. It's like Jen's, she's just going to be ready.
Yes.
There's no sense in her sitting around, because at the end of the day, Angie, it's a lot about your attitude as well. And if your attitude is of the understanding that studio time costs money.
Yes.
Studio time costs money. Yes. And when they see that an artist like myself can come in and do 3 tracks in one day, they're like, damn, and also, I can even do 4 or 5 tracks, because they can see that I've done my homework. And there's an awful lot of these programmers, an awful lot of these guys that, doing the productions and everything else.
Yep.
They haven't worked, they don't work with highly experienced people. Remember, I've been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I become powerful in what I do.
Yes.
And so I get called up to do something, or something as simple as like, Jen, we've got a track. Can you do, here's the pay packet. I'm like, okay, great. I'll give you a great one. I'll give you, because I love a little story.
Oh yeah.
So my friend said, Jen, can you do it? I said, yeah, right. And it would be everything else. And it was for some kind of jingle, but it was also a song.
Okay.
So I went down there, and I went into there, put the headphones on, and I said, play the track. And because I'd done my homework, because I'd done all the things. Oh, hello, sweetie. Hello. Hello, darling. Can you hear? Is he watching?
That's so cute.
He's a cutie. Oh, bless him. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so I'd gone in there, put the headphones on, sang it, and then the guy comes in the room, passes me an envelope of money, and and he said that was brilliant. So I said, oh no, I said, yeah, I haven't finished. I said, oh, he said, oh no, you have. I was like, hold on a minute. I said, I thought it was I thought we were just doing the levels. He said, no, that was brilliant. I don't want to do another take. Damn.
Yes.
I was like,
yes.
That wasn't even 5 minutes. I was like, okay.
Well, you're done. That's yeah, it is. That is incredible. Do you have genius? Become genius. Know your power. Do you have a method? Do you sit down at the computer, or is it you with a mic, with the melody or writing lyrics at the beginning?
No, what I find, Angie, is the best for me is I never write lyrics first. Although I do write poetry, but I never seem to put poetry to the music, not unless sometimes it might work. It's very, very rare. But I usually find that if you sit down and you first got the track, you'll focus too much in your mind of trying to find a melody. Now, if you put the track on once you're doing the dishes, or you're in the bath, or you're putting your clothes on for the gym, which is what I do every morning as well. I put the track on. You're not thinking about it. It's just playing around and round, and all of a sudden, boom, the melody comes every time without fail. Every time, because like you're just doing nonsensical things, and you're just letting it run and be the backdrop of your morning. And so whilst it's playing, you just like, and you're washing the teeth and everything else, and a melody pops in your head every time without fail. It's the best way to write, honey.
Oh, I love that.
Believe. And then I go running in, get my kind of phone. I'm like,
yes, of course.
And then you start singing it in the phone as it's running from the backdrop. And then you do that. And then so then you've got your little section there. Or you might have your chorus, or you might have your first line, or you might have your first word, and you're like, okay. And that gives you a little jolt. You're like, right, I'm like that. I work with that. Yes. And then by the time you get back home, and after you've done your spiritual conversations with yourself, you go back to it because you're all excited. Now you're getting ready for work, or you're getting ready to go to the charity or whatever. And then for the next 2 hours, that becomes your backdrop again.
Oh, that's so cool.
By the time I've left the house, I finished the track. I'm a fast writer.
Oh, okay then.
Really fast.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that process, and it works for you, and you know it, and that's great.
Do you know what? Abby, Angie, I think it would work for anybody. I just don't. It's just a formula that I found that if you're not focused on it, I mean, obviously afterwards, then you focus on it because now it's like having a blank page.
Right.
So the music is the blank page. And as soon as you find a little speck of something that's a little spark, then you've got then it grows legs. Right. And then you can sit down on the computer and go, right, I've got the concept. Nice. Because then you might have the melody, but not the concept. So the concept might take you a day. Concept might take you 5 minutes, depending on the mood of the track. I'm writing a track at the moment. This guy sent it to me, and I'm calling it Cry because the mood was, So I emailed him back. I said to him, I hope you don't mind. I said, I want to call this track Cry because it's really melancholy. Wow. And it reminded me of my boyfriend that committed suicide and how I felt. They're the feelings that came out.
Wow.
And he said to me, oh my God, he says, I can't believe you said that to me. And I said, well, why? He said to me, because I wrote it when my dad died. Oh, and it's all about, and I was like, wow, what's that about? And I don't even know the guy.
The emotion of the music. It cuts through. Oh, that's incredible. Oh my goodness. I want to be mindful of your time and just thank you again so much for being with us today. And your book on gratitude, that's not out yet?
It's not out yet. It's like 3/4 done.
So please keep us posted because definitely.
We'll read it at our house.
Yes. And we will, let's see, keep in touch. And then Allison, did you have any other questions? I've been peppering in the questions from Facebook as we've been going along since it's airing in Facebook. Let's see.
Well, I didn't think anybody would know me out there in America.
What?
I didn't think anybody would know me in America out there.
Oh, the Bellestars, yeah, sign of the times. I mean, definitely. Well, and especially, and Dustin Hoffman too went on. He's been talking about Aiko. I mean, like every press conference and.
Well, it was him and who's the other guy, Tom Cruise. They both really liked that track.
Yeah.
it was weird how I got that.
That's so funny.
They put it in the film. They thought that we were an obscure band.
Oh.
And they liked our version. The amount of people that have done that version, I personally like Dr. John's version. You know, and originally the Dixie Cups had done it.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was I was living in Miami at the time. Mm-hmm. And then my friend, he'd come, there was a lot of Londoners there. And my friend came down and he said, Jenny, everyone's looking for you. I was like, why? What's going on? And he said, you've got a hit. And I was like, really? Where? And he's like, only on the biggest film in the world. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah. And he said, like the Rain Man. I was like, what's the Rain Man? Right. So anyway, so I didn't take any mind. So he said, I need to take your number. You're going to love this story. Have you got time for the story?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You're going to love this.
Please.
So I said, so he says, I need to take your number. I give it to the manager when I go home. So he went back to London and I get a phone call from this guy. And he says, everyone and their mother's looking for you. I need to give your number to such and such, right? So I didn't know who he'd given the number to.
Oh, that's so funny.
A few days later, right? I kid you not. Now I'm now sleeping on my friend's sofa because I'm now broke, right?
Oh, my gosh.
And then this is true. This is a true story. This is way after Bellestar was finished. And then I get this phone call, and it's Hollywood. This is such a fairy story. It's almost unbelievable. Right?
Oh yeah.
And it's Hollywood, and I'm like, hello. And then there's, are you, hey, are you Jennie Bellestar? All this kind of stuff, the way they speak. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. Yeah. And I was like, and then it was chatting. I said, and I said, can you hold? I said, would you like to speak to my attorney? No, I didn't have an attorney, right? But I knew there was one next door, right?
Oh,
and it was literally there, right? So I said, can I bring my attorney to the phone and he can talk the business with you? And he said, yes, sure, right? So I went running next door, and I knew the guy's name was Joe, right? That's all I knew about him. And I said, Joe, and he comes out in this towel wrapped around him, just about covering his bits. And I said, I need an attorney. He's like, what? I said, now. And he said, why? I said, what's the urgency? He said, what's the urgency? I said, get me this deal from Hollywood.
Yes.
I said, apparently we might be going to Hollywood. So he's like, so he comes flying in, gets chatting on the phone. Next thing you know, we're going off to Hollywood.
Yes.
Me and my mates go off to Hollywood, but it doesn't finish there. So we get to Hollywood, and we're at this place called Capitol Records, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not Capitol. It's like, it's bigger than that. It's I can't. It begins with a P. Something to do with films. Anyway, Paramount. That's it. That's the Paramount Pictures. So we get there. I'm on one end of the bloody table, and all these executives on the other. And I'm thinking, damn, what they're going to say next, right? And I'm new to this. And then so have you thought about the video, right? Well, no, I hadn't, right? Mm-hmm. So I said to them, but I didn't want to let them know that. So I said to them, I got some ideas for the video. I said, but I said, I'd imagine you got some too. So of course that was it. They all had the ideas. They all wanted, and I said, I'd like to hear yours first.
Nice.
Well, that was it. So the next thing you know, the following day, I'm only flipping auditioning Janet Jackson's dancers. Woo! And I'm like, damn!
Yes.
Damn! No, it's like a fairy story. And then within 2 weeks, I'm on heavy rotation on MTV.
Oh yeah.
And there you have it. You know,
oh yeah. Oh, I love that. Yay.
And the coolest part of the whole thing for me personally was I got to meet the guy that it was about, and his name was Babette.
Oh,
in Palm Springs.
Wow.
He went down to Palm Springs, so I went down there, and I got to meet him. He was such a lovely man. And what that guy didn't know about me was incredible. He knew everything about me. He knew more about me than me. He knew what dates my singles come out, my age, where I was born, how was this, and I was like, damn, you're like some kind of wizard. He was amazing.
Oh, wow.
He's not with us now, but he was an amazing man, you know.
Wow, that is a fairy tale. That's a fairy tale. That is incredible. Yeah. I'm so happy for you. That is so cool. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Allison, did you have any questions?
No, I'm just loving all the stories. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone loves the stories. Do you know, Allison, when we do tours on tour buses, that's all you hear. Because everybody that you play with, depending on what band, you know, they've got stories. I've got this friend of mine that I work with, his name's Skip McDonald, and he's played with everyone. There's not one, but he's like Rolling Stones, Ronnie Wood, he plays with like James Brown, the Sugar Hill Gang. I mean, you name it, he's played with them all, right? Mm-hmm. And that Parliament, and that guy has got a story. He would just sit there, like jaw to the floor, listening to all the funny stories. It's so hilarious. Oh, and then somebody else will have another story, and it's just like all these rock and roll stories. They're
yes.
Oh, spend all time telling stories, you know.
Amazing.
That's one thing I love about you. Mentioned Jules Holland, and I love watching the Jules Holland show. And I remember when he had Elvis Costello on, and the stories that came out of that, because I've been a fan of Elvis's for a long, long time.
Do you know, watching the detectives? Yeah, watching the detectives. I put it on my iPod.
It's true. Yeah, yes. Well, Allison is on that album.
Allison, how could I not? Oh, of course. That's why you like him.
Oh,
I had older brothers.
The thing about Elvis is him and a guy called Paul Young, right? On the Bellestar's first single, they sang the backing vocals.
What? I didn't know that. Oh,
there's something you didn't know then. Yeah. Well, Elvis was on. I think Elvis was on our label. Elvis Presley.
When he appeared,
he was on Stiff Records.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he was on Stiff Records. So this, you know, there's a Oh, well done that you like him. Are you from America?
Yes. Yeah, I live in the Pacific
and you know who Elvis Costello is.
Elvis Costello.
Yeah, I've been to him. So, and Diana Krall, who grew up in Canada, I've been to the island where she's from and where they now live and are raising their twins. They have a jazz festival there every year, and I've always wanted to go back. I went there on a sailboat. It's like there's no cars on the island. It's kind of a paradise.
Yeah.
I'm a long time fan of. So yeah, that was my favorite episode of Jules Holland. Now I have to go back and watch all of your guys' appearances.
Yeah, but I was only doing backing vocals, but it was the best one. It was like Ed Sheeran. It had Jim McRae, whatever it's like, Rock Your Boat, Baby, that guy from the 70s. I mean, it had all these different. There was this band though. I think he was from America. And he's like Trombone Shorty. Have you ever heard of him?
Yes, I love Trombone Shorty.
I need to know Trombone Shorty.
Oh yeah,
Allison, hook us up with Trombone Shorty, please.
He was not only was he the nicest guy, he was such an incredible player. I was blown away by his playing.
He started playing when he was 3 years old.
The trombone?
Yeah.
At 3?
Yeah, he has. You're right.
Pretty much. He's on record. He's on records as a young.
For me, he was the most exciting player there, and he was just the most humble guy. You know, I love people like that. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
Really New Orleans,
absolutely.
That whole scene in New Orleans with John Cleary and the Absolute Monster Gentlemen, and their stay at Tipitina, and I love all of that stuff. I will eat it up.
Yay. That's so great.
All right, guys, it's my bedtime.
I know.
It's late, you know.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for spending the time with us and telling us inspirational, amazing, powerful stories. And I feel like I'm just gonna go right into my affirmations after this.
Yeah, and then you're gonna say something like I am in my power. You know what I mean? And become, I am powerful. You know, they're the ones you be saying, I am power. I am powerful.
Oh, I am power. Well, I hope to speak with you again. You're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
And I would love to see some slapism going on.
Oh, so would I, with quite a few people. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Coin the phrase, slapism.
Slapism.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
All
yes,
right.
keep us posted and
Right.
have a good night.
All right. Alison, lovely to meet you.
Nice
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much.
See you later. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.